Let me ask you something. How many times have you thought, if I just learn enough indicators, if I just master one more strategy, I'll finally be consistent? How many times have you believed, maybe I just need to be smarter, more educated, maybe I'm not gifted enough for this game? Let me destroy that illusion for you. In 1994, a hedge fund was created by the brightest minds in finance long-term capital management, led by two Nobel Prize winners, PhDs from the most prestigious institutions, equipped with algorithms so complex they made Wall Street bow. They believed they could quantify risk. They believed they could model chaos. They believed intelligence could defeat randomness. And for a moment, it looked like they were right. They generated 40% annual returns. The world praised them. Other traders envied them. Then came 1998, the Russian debt default, unexpected, uncontrollable. Their models failed. The correlations they trusted broke down. They lost $4.6 billion in a few months. The firm imploded. The government had to step in to prevent systemic collapse. They weren't wrong in their math. They were wrong in their belief that being smart makes you safe. Survive first, profit second. That's the rule they broke, and the market, as always, collected the debt. Now here's the brutal truth most don't want to hear. Trading isn't about being right. It's about staying alive long enough to let your edge pay off. You can have the best setup, the most refined strategy, but if you blow your account in 3 reckless trades, it's over. No second chances, no applause for effort, no reward for intelligence. The market doesn't care how correct you were in theory. It only cares whether you're still standing tomorrow. And this brings us to the most dangerous lie in trading, that the game is won by being smart. No, the game is won by being resilient, by being boringly, relentlessly consistent, by doing the right thing long enough not to go broke. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need a PhD in economics. You don't need to predict the market perfectly. You don't need to be a genius. You need to be present. You need to not disappear when the pain shows up. You need to not implode when the market slaps you in the face. Because here's the paradox. A trader with average intelligence and excellent risk control will always outperform a genius with no breaks. Let that sink in. What's more deadly than ignorance? Arrogance. Because arrogance says, this rule doesn't apply to me. This trade is different. I'm too smart to fail. But the market doesn't speak ego. It speaks consequence. It speaks in liquidation, in margin calls, in silent screens and empty accounts. Think about your worst trades. Were they because you lacked knowledge? Or because you ignored what you already knew? You moved a stop, you over-leveraged, you chased a loss, you thought just this once. But the market always remembers, and it always responds. You don't get punished for being wrong, you get punished for staying wrong with size. That's the trap smart traders fall into. They think they can outthink their way through chaos. But the market doesn't reward IQ. It rewards those who survive enough cycles to learn humility. If you're losing right now and you're smart, that's not the problem. Your problem is that you think trading is an intellectual puzzle. But it's not. It's a psychological war, a test of restraint, a grind of emotional control. And you either learn that early, or the market teaches it to you painfully. So the next time you think you're too smart to fail, remember this. LTCM had Nobel Prizes and they still blew up. You don't need brilliance. You need respect for the game. You need discipline over cleverness. You need humility over pride. Because in this arena, the market doesn't crown kings. It just buries those who forget that survival, is the only victory that matters. Every trader eventually meets the moment. Not their first loss, not their first win, but the moment the curtain lifts and they see the market for what it truly is. Not a puzzle, not a science, but a jungle. Chaotic, ruthless, unforgiving. And in that moment, the illusions die. All the YouTube gurus, all the flashy cars, all the promises of 90% win rates. Gone. And what's left is one brutal question. Can I survive this? Not can I win, not can I beat the market, just can I survive? Because the game doesn't reward those who win quickly. It rewards those who last long enough to understand what not to do. You think you're a trader? Let's test that. Can you survive 10 losses in a row without revenge trading? Can you survive staring at red numbers without moving your stop? Can you survive success without letting ego whisper, "You're invincible now"? Most don't. Most blow up not because they lost, but because they didn't know how to lose well. Because losses don't destroy traders. Emotions do. Fear, greed, ego, desperation. It's not the market that breaks you. It's what you do after the market hits you. Every great trader I've ever known, real ones, not Instagram actors, had one thing in common. They weren't obsessed with winning. They were obsessed with staying alive. They knew, if I'm still here tomorrow, I still have a chance. And in that simplicity, they found power. Because survival is the most offensive edge there is. Every day you don't blow up, you build emotional muscle. Every day you respect your plan, you reinforce your identity. Every day you walk away from chaos, you sharpen your edge. The strongest trader isn't the fastest or the smartest. It's the one who lasts the longest. Because here's the truth Wall Street doesn't sell you. Winning isn't hard. Winning consistently without self-destruction, that's the war. And that's why survival is everything. You don't need 100 wins. You need the ability to keep showing up intact after 100 losses. You need the kind of patience that whispers, "Let others chase dopamine, I'll chase discipline." The market is a master of psychological warfare. It waits for you to overtrade, to overthink, to overcompensate. And just when you break the rules, you lose everything. But if you resist that trap, if you survive, you win by default. Because most people won't be here next year. Your real edge isn't strategy. It's your ability to stay in the game when others self-destruct. So if you're listening to this right now, and you're down, confused, burned out, breathe. That doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're being tested. And if you learn to treat every loss as a lesson, every drawdown as a data point, every emotion as something to observe, not obey, you're already ahead of 90% of traders. So ask yourself right now, am I trading to feel alive or to stay alive? Because only one of those leads to longevity. And only the survivors get to taste the full cycle of this game. If this part hit you deep, tell me in the comments. What moment made you realize trading wasn't what you thought it was? Your story might wake someone else up. Smash that like button if you've ever had to rebuild yourself in this game. Subscribe to Mind of a Trader. This isn't just a channel. It's a training ground for the few who choose survival over spectacle. Now, take a breath, reset, and prepare to outlast. If survival is the ultimate edge, then what holds it up? What pillars keep a trader standing when the storm rages? There are 3. Not flashy, not sexy, but vital. 1. Risk management, protecting the bloodline. Risk isn't the enemy. The real enemy is uncalculated risk. Think about it: risking 10%, 20%, even 50% of your account on a single trade isn't bold, it's suicide. If you're risking more than 1-2% per trade, ask yourself, are you trading or gambling? It's easy to convince yourself that a setup feels right. Easy to believe that you're the exception, that this trade will be the jackpot. But survivors, they respect the math. They know that the market isn't about feeling, it's about probabilities. It's about survival. Remember long-term capital management, the mathematical geniuses who lost $4.6 billion. They didn't lose because their math was wrong. They lost because they forgot to manage risk. Don't make the same mistake. If your risk management fails, nothing else matters. 2. Discipline the daily battle with yourself. Discipline isn't a feeling, it's a muscle you build every day. Every time you follow your plan instead of chasing a sure thing. Every time you accept a small loss instead of hoping for a miracle. Every time you walk away instead of trading to make back what you lost. This is the real war. Most traders know what they should do, but knowing and doing are worlds apart. And the market can smell your weakness. One undisciplined moment can undo weeks, months, even years of work. Your worst trades don't come from bad setups. They come from broken discipline. Every broken rule sends a message to your subconscious. I don't trust myself. And that message, it's like blood in the water. 3. Emotional control, mastering the storm within. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. You don't trade the market, you trade your perception of it. Your biggest enemy isn't volatility, it's your own mind. Fear makes you exit early. Greed makes you overstay. Ego makes you reckless. Until you master your emotions, you're a hostage to them. You must learn to sit in losses without panicking. Sit in profits without turning greedy. Walk away when the noise is too loud. Return when calm logic returns. Your mind is the most powerful chart you'll ever see. If you can't read it, no candle pattern will save you. Why these pillars matter? Because trading isn't a sprint. It's not about clever hacks or the perfect indicator. It's a grind, a test of character. And these 3 pillars, they're the foundation. Without risk management, you blow up. Without discipline, you lose your way. Without emotional control, you lose your mind. Proven truth. Look at the legends. Paul Tudor Jones once said, "The secret to being successful from a trading perspective is to have an indefatigable and an undying and unquenchable thirst for information and knowledge." But it's not just knowledge, it's self-mastery. Ray Dalio preaches radical transparency and radical open-mindedness, but behind it all is discipline, risk management, and emotional resilience. You want to survive, build these pillars until they're unbreakable. Your action steps. Review your current risk per trade. Is it under 2%? Write down your trading rules and commit to them. Before every session, check your emotional state. Are you calm, focused, ready? What pillar do you struggle with the most? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's get real. Because here at Mind of a Trader, we don't sugarcoat. We grow. You want proof. Real stories from real traders. Stories that should haunt you. Because sometimes nothing teaches better than pain. Jesse Livermore, the greatest trader who lost it all. Jesse Livermore was a legend. He made millions, lost it, made it again, and lost everything multiple times. Why not? Because he didn't have the skill. He had the skill, but he lacked control. His ego became his worst enemy. Overconfidence blinded him. Refusal to adapt was his downfall. He once wrote, The stock market is never obvious. It is designed to fool most of the people most of the time. Yet even with this wisdom, he failed himself. Why? Because survival is more than knowledge. It's humility. It's discipline. It's controlling your inner demons. The 2020 Robin Hood boom, when dreams became nightmares. Fast forward to 2020. During the lockdown, thousands of new traders flooded the market. Robinhood made trading accessible. Young, eager, and naive, many jumped in without a plan. Some got lucky, made quick profits. But luck is a cruel teacher. Then came the crashes, the reversals, the emotional carnage. Thousands lost savings. Families suffered. One 20-year-old, believing he owed hundreds of thousands, due to a platform error, took his own life. Think about that. Trading isn't just numbers on a screen, it's lives, it's emotions, it's consequences. If you don't respect the power of survival, you will pay the price. Why these stories matter? Because they reveal the harsh truth. Success in trading isn't about beating the market, it's about beating yourself. These aren't just cautionary tales, they're lessons carved in stone. Reflection. How many times have you seen someone, maybe even yourself, get crushed not by the market but by your own mind? By greed, fear, impatience. How many dreams have been shattered because survival was ignored? Final warning. The market doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care if you've read 1,000 books or watched 100 YouTube videos. It only cares if you can survive. And survival demands respect. Your move. When did you face your hardest loss? What did it teach you about survival? Comment below, because Mind of a Trader isn't just a channel. It's your tribe, your battleground, your refuge. Like this video if these stories hit home. If you want more brutal truths and real talk, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're walking this jungle together, and the only way out is through. So now you know the dangers. You've seen the ghosts haunting the trading world. The question is, what do real survivors do differently? 1. Daily risk limit your invisible shield. Before you even click buy or sell, ask yourself, how much am I willing to lose today? Not make lose. Because the moment you treat trading like a money-making machine, you're playing with fire. Setting a daily risk limit isn't weakness. It's your shield. It's what protects you from turning a bad day into a disaster. A survivor respects this limit. They don't chase losses or revenge trades. Remember, the biggest losses don't come from bad trades, but from ignoring your own rules. 2. Trade journal brutal honesty as your best ally. Write down everything, the setups, your emotions, your wins, your losses. Not to shame yourself, but to understand yourself. Your journal is a mirror reflecting your patterns, good and bad. Want proof? Studies show traders who keep journals improve their results by up to 30%. Why? Because awareness breeds control. 3. Emotional check-in. Know your mind before you trade. Trading when you're angry, tired, or stressed. Recipe for disaster. Before every session, rate your emotional state from 1 to 10. If you're below a 6, step back. You wouldn't pilot a plane when you're sick. Why trade when your mind isn't clear? 4. Rest days. The power of walking away. Sometimes the bravest move is to do nothing. Survivors know when to step back, recharge, and come back stronger. The market will always be there. Your sanity and capital won't. 5. Continuous learning. Survival is an ongoing battle. Markets evolve. So should you. Study, adapt, and never stop improving. But beware of information overload. Survivors filter and apply, not just consume. Remember, these habits aren't just tips, they're lifelines. The difference between a trader who lasts 10 years and one who burns out in 10 months. Final words for this section. What survival habit has saved you from disaster? Drop a comment, share your wisdom or your scars. We're not here to make you rich overnight. We're here to make sure you last long enough to be rich. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your preparation. This is the brutal truth the market forces into every trader sooner or later. If you want to last 10 years in this game, you have to train like a warrior, think like a monk, and execute like a machine. Because trading isn't about luck. It's not about genius. It's about discipline, resilience, and survival. Here's what real traders focus on. They don't chase the big wins. They don't flaunt their profits. They study drawdowns, the painful moments where true character is forged. Because every dollar made means nothing if you can't survive the next storm. Storms will come, losses will come, the market will test your mind, your soul, your will. The question is, will you break or will you endure? If you want to endure, remember these truths. Protect your capital like your life depends on it, because it does. Respect your rules like a sacred code because they keep you alive. Master your emotions like a warrior mastering the battlefield, because your mind is your greatest weapon. And here's what I want from you. Drop a comment below. What is the hardest survival lesson you've learned in trading? I want to hear your story, your fight, your wisdom. If this video awakened a new mindset in you, hit that like button hard. Subscribe to Mind of a Trader, because here you're not alone. We're your companions through every storm, every drawdown, every victory. This isn't just a channel, it's a community of survivors. Remember, the market doesn't care who you are, but if you can survive it, you will win. And winning isn't just about money, it's about living to fight another day. Let's survive together.